kuti mi yalo ko ata hadama dum mantora madum one stop water solutions limited ibe janne Gambia banko kan andun ye filtarole natal me yalo ko isala jiol kende andi anu isa senen inatale pour ka ji kendo ji sena wonatale Gambia banko kan jio mi yalo ko atal mantora la andun jio diata ba one stop water solutions limited ye filtarole natal me yalo ko alse muna fangano la alla pompol isala jiol tenten ya senendi coming alla fala nyame naketa pompoti bang aboholo fo nawek la pipe wala a filter sifa o sifa one stop solutions ya natale 10-inch filter set of 3 ya sotale filter mi yalo ko acidiota aya tenten natara bankole ba kono fa kenyo wala kankan be bije sa be bon filter fana member ko 12-inch set of 3 filter mi yalo ko acidiota aya dada aya senendi men se beta alla jata kendato fana sotale CTO block carbon filter o fana mu filter mi yalo ko asi chemical o bonnino jiol kono le men se beta alla jata kendaya filter member ko CTO block carbon men si jiola chemical o be bondi akono pour kala jata kendaya sa hen nim filter sabol be kili wo kili na pansun doku na wata tankol fana sotale kabrim 500 5000 fokata 10000 liters plumbing fittings fana be mol bulle alsimol tarano sukuta highway Mariama Kunda Johnson wala isimol kumandi 505 5691 796 8272 one stop water limited solutions inatale ka jiko be sonende Gambia banko.
There. You're watching QTV this morning, and I am your host, Jennifer Sonko, joined by my co-host, Aliou Cisse. Looking smart, by the way. Nice jacket.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay.
Good to be back here.
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
Yes, I had a good weekend, but like Mr. Ade usually says, is it a weekend? Because it's just one day.
One day.
That is just on Sunday, and you have to basically do everything that you wanted to do during the week. So is it really a weekend? That's the big question, considering we work from Monday to Saturday.
But do you do some domestic work, Jennifer?
Well, yesterday it took me 2 hours to get my room done.
2 hours?
2 hours, yeah. Wow. I got my room done yesterday, and I was so proud, you know, so that's what I did yesterday, the whole day, because normally I do not have time. I get to dress up every single day, so whenever I come, clothes everywhere. But hey, yesterday I just, you know, decided to keep it neat and tidy.
Oh, that's great.
And I have proof. I can show you after the program if you don't believe me, because I know some people do not believe me.
Mr. Adam must verify that. No, he's very good at picking out details. So
no
obviously
problem. No problem. And after doing that, then my chest started because I'm asthmatic.
Oh,
and immediately, because of the dust, the Hamatan, my chest started immediately. So really, brace up, to, you know, asthma patients, because, you know, when it comes to the Hamatan, it's a bad time. Just that small domestic work I did yesterday, putting my room together, immediately after that, I had to use my inhaler, so it's not looking good for us.
Yeah, next time you have to invite Tres to help you.
Right? No problem. Or Mariama Cisse.
Exactly, yeah. Maybe Mariama.
How was your weekend?
It wasn't bad at all. Like you said, one day off.
Yeah.
I was home the whole day. I don't normally like going out on Sundays.
Okay.
It's the only day I have to rest, so I just love being home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Adedrami. And how was your weekend?
I always think people are teasing me when they ask me how was your weekend.
Yes.
Because I don't have a weekend. So Sunday is meant to be my day of rest, and yet, you know, I'm not sort of seeking sympathy or anything like that, but I still had 2 stories that people sent in that had to be edited.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not really much of a weekend.
It is.
But nonetheless, I managed to watch a couple of movies, watch some football, and played music throughout the day. So
at least it was relaxing in a way.
I keep wondering how he's able to manage this. He's always the last one to leave the office.
Exactly.
And first to come here at the office.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hectic.
Honestly,
Yeah.
when I look at him, I'm like, I don't know how Mr. Ali is able to
I enjoy the
do
work.
this.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the key to it. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, then, you know, either look for another job or give it up.
Yeah,
And so I enjoy it. So yeah, I mean, people who phone and said, I've got a story I want you to edit, they always kind of apologize if it's on a Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you mind? I'm about to send you this.
I can remember doing the same.
So, but you know, they know now that I don't mind because it's all part of the work. So
Yeah. And I agree with what you said. If you do not like the job, you come up with excuses.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not what you want, then you come up with excuses when you're told to do certain things. But imagine being the last to leave the office.
Honestly,
and also editing stories
even
on a Sunday.
when I'm on tour and then I sense to 11 at night, I'm like, Mr. Ade, can I? No,
He
it's
can-
okay, it's
yeah.
okay. I'm like, what?
You can send stories at 5 a.m. He will still look at it.
exactly. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So
Anyway, thank you so much. We really appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah,
You
your
keep inspiring
work.
us, and then that has really motivated most of us to go to deliver beyond expectations.
Sure,
because
sure.
if you have a leader who is going that extra mile despite his age, I mean, just to make sure things are done, that alone, will inspire those under you. And to be honest, for someone like me, not because he's sitting, but I said everywhere. He has really inspired me a lot in terms of, going beyond expectation as far as the work is concerned.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And considering he's a good listener as well, which is good. Anyway, let's not make this about him. It's the morning show. But I think he deserves a petty award from the news team. We need to talk to them. We need to, right?
Yeah.
So moving on, today we have the African Proverb. We have the newspaper review. We already introduced our guest. And also social issues today. We'll be joined by the outgoing UNFPA country representative here, Kule Adinye, to tell us how staying in Gambia has been. I saw his recent post on Facebook. He said, "Thank you, Gambia, you've been good to me." So, he will come here just to tell us how Gambia treated him. But it seems we treated him good already. And on Sports Wall, we will be joined again by Adedrami to take us through what is happening in the world of sports. And Click segment, we'll be joined by Skengman Sweezy. It's been a while. Skengman Sweezy.
Kingsman Sweezy.
They did. Skengman Sweezy.
Oh, Skengman Sweezy.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
You know he's from Jara, so. Anyway, what's up today on our
on the African Proverb, we have a pretty face and fine clothes do not make character.
Yes, do not make character.
What interesting proverb there, Mr. Ade.
It really is.
A pretty face and fine clothes do not make character.
Actually, you find this proverb all over the world.
Yeah.
The Jamaicans, in the kind of typically, they have the saying, pretty looks isn't all. Is what they say in Jamaica. And essentially it's the same thing. Just because you look good on the outside or you have a pretty face doesn't mean that necessarily you have a decent character. And it's true, it's true. But sometimes people get fooled by it. And when you're doing things like journalism, they'll show you pictures of people and they'll say, what kind of person do you think this person is? And then they'll tell you that, this person was a dictator who killed hundreds of people. But because you looked at their face and they have a good appearance, they're handsome or they're pretty, you say, oh, they look like an honest person. They look this, they look that. And that betrays that thing and it makes the truth of that saying.
And this takes my mind to R. Kelly. Looking at R. Kelly and the gospel songs he used to sing, you would not in 100 years ever imagine that he can be raping women, violating their rights and all of that. He used to sing all these gospel songs, his appearance is quite good. So judging by that, you would never imagine there will be a surviving R. Kelly,
Yes,
so,
fine,
so for me, just that is quite devastating. It's too dishonest for me. When it comes to your looks, you can just fool people. And this also has to do with people deciding to settle with people. Sometimes when you're trying to settle or marry into a particular family or get married to a particular individual, if you judge by the outer part of his or her family or the individual, you're missing it. And a lot of marriages today are not working. Reason is because they did not take their time to figure out the character of that particular individual, but rather how the person looks, the money the person has, what the person says, and all of that.
She's sounding like my grandmother. I can hear my grandmother's words echoing in my ear. She said, Ade, when you're old enough to marry, don't marry a woman because she looks pretty.
And someone out there saying, who's this kid?
Absolutely. And I'm not saying this because I'm on set, but my friends know, and they will tell you, I do not fall for a man's look. That's me. I absolutely know. I can't fall for a man's look, What I fall for is your intellect. You have to be smart. You have to just be able to inspire my kids.
Even if the person is from the village.
Excuse me, please. I'm not interested. Please.
So any ugly guys who have good character, please,
I'm not saying. At least you look good, I don't mind. But what I'm just trying to put across is I do not look at an individual's physique. For me, you just have to be able to inspire my children. That's what I look at, not how you look, Aliu.
Anyway. It's a good thing, but sometimes if you ask people to be honest, they will say to you, well, what first attracted you to this person? And then you say, oh, they look good. Later on you get to know their character and so on. But
Aliu, I know exactly what you're driving at, and this is not the place to have that discussion. So I'm not interested. We will talk about that later. Yeah, so the proverb is a pretty face and fine clothes do not make a character. So what is your opinion?
Yeah, for me, I think, like Mr. Ade just rightly mentioned, you often hear people say you don't judge the book by the cover.
Sure.
I mean, some people might appear to you as, you know, the coolest and all that, but deep in their hearts, they have different motive, which is could be quite, you know, devastating and dangerous. I mean, you might also see somebody and then you think the person is difficult to deal with. Perhaps not. That's not who the person is. Sure. It just depends how you deal with the person. I mean, some people in their appearance, okay, this guy is so difficult to deal with. Yeah. But deep down, I mean, the person is the coolest guy you can ever deal with. So like you said, it's very important.
And also, Aliu, let's take a look at mental health issues. Somebody dressing cool, looking nice, being able to do their work does not mean they do not have mental health issues as well. You know, there are a lot of people dressing up every single day, looking good, and deep down they have mental health issues. So it just takes me coming to Aliu and asking Aliu, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And then Aliu would eventually open up to me. So somebody just looking good and dressing up and doing their work.
Like he always, you know, when he says, are you okay?
Exactly. Fine. Because probably your facial expression and all of that. So people are going through stuff. And it doesn't mean because they're looking good. So I think we should take our time to just ask the next person how you're feeling, because we never know what the person is going through.
It's interesting because it's a fine line, as Aliu says. And you know, if you've lived to my age, sometimes because you work with people, you kind of get to know their character. And if you see somebody looking pensive and so on, you just quietly say to them, you know, look, this is not like you. Is everything okay? And something might be bothering them. It might mean that, you know, you say to them, look, I think you should go home, because, you know, they tell you what the problem is. And because not a lot of people are very good at being forthcoming in saying to, oh, you're my manager, can I tell you this? You know, so sometimes you have to kind of just observe people and sort of tease it out of them and say, you know, so yeah, sometimes the looks can be deceptive, that there's something that's
underneath, right? So interesting one. So yeah, we will go for a short commercial break now, Aliu. And when we come back, I told you, I'm not having this discussion with you on this platform. There's nothing you can do that can force me to have this discussion with you. So
even Teresa is smiling.
No, like I can't have this one. So we will just go for a short commercial break. And when we come back, we will head right on to the newspaper review. Do stay tuned.
Begin your SUV life. S-Pass Motors, the new authorized dealer for Kia. Visit us today or call us on 3522-222, 353-2222.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. So now we head right on to our newspaper review. Our guest is here, Ade Drami. What is on the Standard?
Well, on the Standard newspaper, I have Jammeh's guards due back soon in the country after they have been away with the former president in Equatorial Guinea since 2017. You know, government makes clarion call for support to Gambia's AFCON program. I know Mr. Ade will be back here later for the sport update, but also to further discuss about the doubts over whether the tournament will go ahead or not. GRA boss tells staff to protect institutions' integrity. And also ECOMIC, Ghana appreciates Gambian hospitality. Basically, that's what I'm saying. And also IEC lawyers ask for time to respond to UDP petition. Gun owner in Babylon shooting arrested. 3 dead in Kotoka crash, another road accident. That's basically what I have on the Standard newspaper.
So moving on Ferrer, we have Health Ministry launches street-to-street COVID-19 vaccination campaign. And also lawyers for President Barrow want Supreme Court to dismiss case on constitutional ground. And close to 80,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines about to expire. And police investigate accidental death of child shot by 10-year-old boy in Babylon. Quite unfortunate. We have it here and we have it there as well. Going through the story, you gave me a heads up that it's quite sad. And going through it, to be honest, it's a devastating one.
Tragic accident.
Yeah.
And it brings to mind thing about safety
Yeah.
and guns when there are children around. You know, a child gets shot by another child, obviously accidentally. Really, really tragic. And if you go into the story, you realize that the owner, 70-year-old, is a hunter who just happened to have left the gun, you know, having returned from a hunt. Happened to have left the gun lying around, and it was still had bullets in it. And that gun was discharged, and unfortunately it got... And, you know, sometimes children see adults with guns.
They see the movies.
And they see movies, and they think it's all play. Particularly, you see a movie, you see somebody killed in a movie, and then 2 weeks later you see that person in another movie, you think, oh,
he didn't die,
so
he or she didn't die.
You know, so people don't die when they get shot, so they don't realize